Welcome to another episode of Where I Got the Shot. Today we're in Icebox Canyon in the Red Rock Conservation Area. I'm going to show you where I got the shot entitled Emergence, which is of the red-spotted toad, and the more artistic shots entitled Gold Chocolate, Reflections, and Mirror Images. Along the way I'll also point out several interesting things. So if you're ready, come on, let's go. Red Rock Canyon, located just west of Las Vegas, Nevada, features a one-way 13-mile scenic drive with tons of hiking, climbing, desert wildlife, breathtaking scenery, and much, much more. We traveled along the scenic loop until we arrived at the Icebox Canyon trailhead. We geared up and made our way past the wilderness boundary, and that's where I find a lot of my shots. You know, the desert can be pretty brutal, pretty harsh environment for things to survive. I would say it's survival of the fittest and adaptation. This plant, this bush for instance, take a look at this. You can see how it's dead in several places, and then life just creeps around on the outside of it. That's really fascinating to me. And every time I see this, I'm just amazed. It reminds me of some superhero cartoon or some superhero type of thing. It's really, really incredible. Springtime in the desert is absolutely beautiful. Everywhere you look, there's new blooms on cactuses, on trees, on bushes, things that you wouldn't normally see. It's just so vibrant and colorful. It's amazing. If you have the opportunity, get up here. Definitely get up here during springtime. So we're about 1.5 miles in at this point, and we're still crossing the open desert where it can get hot, especially in the afternoon hours. But the views are simply magnificent. Just ahead you can see the beginning of the canyon. I'm looking forward to getting in there out of the direct sun where it's much, much cooler. So I've gathered a bunch of unpublished photos of the types of critters that live here. If you're lucky enough, you just might spot one. Keep your eyes open. Many of these guys blend into the landscape and they're very difficult to see. For example, this black-tailed jackrabbit from a distance is very difficult to spot unless you see movement. Maybe you'll spot a member of the iguana family, the chuckwalla, or any of the 20 other types of lizards who call this area their home. You'll probably see a red-tailed hawk or the occasional ladderback woodpecker, but keep your eyes low to the ground if you're hoping to see a chukar partridge. They're quite skittish and difficult to find. Spotting a herd of bighorn sheep in the wilderness is not common, at least for me. I've only had the good fortune to spot them a handful of times over the past several years. So we just dropped down into the canyon and I'm already feeling the temperature differential. It's a lot cooler and I'm really enjoying it. If you're wondering where Icebox Canyon gets its name, it's because it only gets full sun for about a few hours a day, which allows the surface rocks to cool down during the day and also in the evening, keeping the areas in the shade between 10 and 15 degrees cooler than the areas in the sun. It makes a big difference. Unless you're in the middle of the summer, then it does get full sun, so you better be careful about that. Now, this rock right here, check this out. It's called sandstone. See how porous it is? It's the official Nevada state rock. It's not uncommon to see rock climbers simply because the area is known to have the best sandstone climbing in the world. So when you do come up here, please do not mark up nature. Remember to leave only footprints and take only memories. For a presentation regarding graffiti and vandalism, check out our PSA section of the menu. If you find yourself getting lost, you should look for these. They're called cairns. They mark the trail so that if you do get lost or if you have trouble finding your way, when you find these, you know that somebody else has marked it, so that is the trail to be on. This trail is rated difficult, but it's not difficult throughout. It starts easy and then progressively gets more and more difficult. You'll be climbing over boulders and debris left from the monsoon rains, like this fallen tree. And at last, at the end, where it becomes very steep and difficult for most to climb, you better make sure you're wearing the proper shoes. In fact, let me take a break and talk about that. So I want to stop for a second and I want to talk about hydration, a little bit of safety. If you do come up here, make sure that you're wearing the proper attire. Make sure that you're keeping yourself hydrated. Bring plenty of water. In many months throughout the year, it's very dry here. There's no humidity. Right now, it's beginning of monsoon season, and you can see I'm sweating a little bit. But you want to make sure you bring plenty of water. Keep yourself hydrated. Very important. You want to make sure you're wearing very loose-fitting clothes in the hot months so that your skin can breathe. Keep yourself cool. You want to prevent yourself from overheating. This is the desert, don't forget. And you also want to make sure that you're wearing the proper shoes. I wear 510 approach shoes. They have a really unique compound that holds the rocks really well. I'm able to pretty much walk straight up that without holding on too much at all. Earlier today, we had a couple people that came up and they were wearing tennis shoes. So you don't want to wear tennis shoes or flat shoes, but they came up wearing tennis shoes. The first guy made it up okay. The second guy went halfway up and slipped and slid all the way down on his belly and skinned up his knees pretty bad. So you want to make sure you're wearing the proper shoes so you can keep yourself safe, or at least prevent yourself from becoming injured. These 510s, the compound, I can hold on to these rocks. Look at this. I can, like, literally, I'm almost tippy-toed here, and I'm not going anywhere. These are fantastic. I love them. I've had them for over 7 years, and they're still going strong. I literally can go all over this. So you want to make sure that you have a good shoe that's going to hold the rocks so you can prevent yourself from getting injured. With that, let's continue on. So this is where the waterfall starts that feeds Icebox Canyon. When we look up, we see gold chocolate. When it rains, the dark colors become even darker and the lighter colors become more vibrant. Next, let's talk about the image that I captured called Emergence. So it's in this area right here where I took the picture of the spotted toad. What happens later in the year, around August, a lot of this area will fill up with green moss, and the toads will come in and lay their eggs, and of course you'll have tadpoles that are swimming around. Later in August they'll wind up coming up on shore here where the moss has grown, and you'll wind up being able to capture a snapshot of it. If you're lucky enough, the little toads coming out are about this big, just the size of your pinky, just the size of your pinky nail. And it's really spectacular to see one because they're quite inconspicuous, and they only go to a max of 7.5 centimeters. So that's pretty small. My next photo wasn't as easy to capture. Sometimes I need to go beyond the normal. I need to do something that's out of the ordinary in order to capture a different type of photo. In this one, I had to climb on the back side of this pool, and fortunately, when I turned around, I was presented with this amazing view. I captured it, and I call it Reflections. So my next photo that I captured was pretty easy. When I climbed back around to the other side of the pond where the waterfall is, I wound up looking down and immediately I see mirrored images. Had to capture it. It's one of my favorite shots. So it's just a matter of keeping your eyes open. When you do, the probability of you seeing something amazing is pretty great. Like the 4 pictures that I've taken up here and countless others that I've taken that I haven't shown. So what do you say we head back and see if there's anything else that we could find? So that's where I got the shot from Icebox Canyon. Thank you for watching this episode. I look forward to spending time with you on another episode of Where I Got the Shot. Until then, be safe and keep your eyes wide open. You never know what you'll see next. if you find yourself getting lost, you should look for these. They're called cairns. They mark the trail to tell you where the trail is, and so that if you are lost, you can easily find out where you need to go. And you know, when I say keep your eyes open, it's not always so you can see spectacular things or see things that you normally wouldn't, but it's mainly, well, it's because you may happen to trip into one of these guys one day, and I don't think it'd be so pleasant. Yeah, that's what I thought too. So you want to make sure that you have the proper shoes on so that you prevent yourself, or at least you can take measures to prevent yourself from becoming injured. These approach shoes are wonderful. They hold the rocks really well. I mean, I can pretty much walk straight up that. As you can see, I'm like almost tippy toe right here, and I'm not going anywhere. I'm not sliding at all. These shoes are fantastic. And well, you do slide a little bit if there's a little sand on it, but you can see I'm holding myself really well. So with that, let's continue on. You want to make sure that you're wearing the proper shoe so that you can keep yourself safe, prevent yourself from getting hurt, becoming injured. And you see these 510s. I'm able to walk all over these rocks here without sliding as much. I mean, when there is a little bit of sand or a little bit of dust on it, of course you're going to slide a little bit. You know, just keep yourself mindful. Make sure that you keep yourself safe. So, you know, I'm going all over these. I'm going back and forth, and I'm not going down. If I was wearing tennis shoes, I can tell you right now, I'd be on the rocks. So let's go ahead and do this again.